Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So we just took a look at example 1. Now we're going to take a look at example 2, and this is going to be about evaluating exponents. Now, example 2 is really important because it also teaches us a rule about exponents, one of those mathematical facts that we have to know. So it says, how can you evaluate 2 to the 0 power, or 2 as our base with an exponent of 0? The base is 2, the exponent is 0. We just said that. Make a table and look for a pattern. Well, let's look at this pattern. Each value equals the previous value multiplied by 2. Here's 2. Well, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. Well, if we're working to the right and we are multiplying, now we need to work the other way. And we need to think, well, what is the opposite of multiplication? Hopefully, in your brain, alarms are going off and you recognize that it is division. So we are going to divide, and you guessed it, we are going to divide by 2. Well, we know that 2 divided by 2 is 1. So 2 to the 0 power, I know it might seem really weird, is actually equal to 1, but that is a math fact. So it doesn't matter if I write 7 to the 0 power or 37 to the 0 power, each of them will always be equal to 1. So we also have to know how to evaluate other types of powers. So if we have a base of 1.2 and an exponent of 4, what that's saying is that repeated multiplication. 1.2 times, 1.2 times, 1.2 times 1.2. And you can see in their example, they work this down in order, from left to right. 1.2 times 1.2. Hopefully you remember from example 1, that's how we worked with the 2's. To get 1.44 times 1.2, then we get 1.728 times 1.2, and ultimately we multiply by the fourth factor, which is 2.0736 as our final product. And you can see this demonstrated in a table. Either way, it's really important to understand. But remember, we also have the option of typing this into our calculator. So we can type in 1.2, we can hit that caret key, that upward facing arrow, type in a 4, and then hit equals. And in our calculator, it'll give us the same answer. So for the try it, and I want you guys to give this a try right now, we're doing 1/3 to the 3rd power. So I'll give you guys a second to think about that. Alright, so hopefully that was enough time. 1/3 to the 3rd power. We know that 1/3 is our base, and we know that we need to write it 3 times, because that's what our exponent tells us. So I have 1/3 a second time, and I have 1/3 a third time. And hopefully you're remembering this pattern. When we are working with powers, with our base, with our exponent, we are multiplying those together. So if we multiply 1/3 times 1/3 times 1/3, we have a couple of options. We can do traditional fraction multiplication, meaning that we multiply straight across. 1 times 1 times 1, we all know is 1. 3 times 3 is 9, and then 9 times 3 is 27. So 1/27 is how we evaluate 1/3 to the 3rd power. So hopefully you got that answer. If you didn't try it this way, you also could have done it on the calculator. But notice how they have parentheses here. If you want to type this into a calculator, and I'm just going to give us a little more space, you have to type using parentheses. If you don't, you will not be able to get the answer that you need. Type our 3rd power, and you would also get 1 over 27. Alright guys, we're going to take a look at example 3 in the next video.